Oof, so can you tell by the key? So this is, again, not really a series, but it's going to be back-to-back high mileage performance SUVs from the early to mid 2000s. And this right here is a 2006 Range Rover L322 Supercharged. It's the big boy with the big Jag 4.2 V8, making, I guess it's a little under 400 horsepower. This was a kind of an odd model in the L322 lineup, right between the BMW and the Jag era, and a little bit of carryover. So let's fire it up, take it for a spin, and see if it really lives up to the hype of the supercharged motor. So, Range Rover L322, the Range Rover everyone tells you can't afford and don't want to buy. Well, that's mostly true. And again, if you're looking for transportation, this is not the car you want to buy. But if you're looking for something a little more interesting, and you've had a Toyota and you've had a Ford and you've had a Pathfinder and you want something a little more spicy, then a normal 2006 and up with the Jag motor, Range Rover L322 standard isn't the worst thing you can buy. But if you're a bit of a masochist and you want something a little more than that, you can upgrade to the supercharged version. This was the iteration directly after the P38, which I've done a few videos on, and it really was a step in a different direction, or a forward direction for Jaguar. For Land Rover. Again, I'm getting this a little mixed up. Gone was the solid front and rear axles, replaced with independent suspension. It did retain the air suspension, which functions very nicely on this vehicle. And also a group of different powertrains. The initial powertrains were 4.4 liter BMW derived V8s, which had a whole bunch of issues. Obviously, you have Vanos and slip liners and things like that, blah, 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 BMW stuff. And the 2006 was really the one that, if you're going to buy one of these, is the one you want, because that's when they switched over to the Jaguar powertrain. So this one's powered by 4.2 liter supercharged V8, which is akin to the one found in the supercharged Jaguar sedans and XKRs and whatnot. So a fairly reliable, fairly proven powertrain. It definitely makes this an interesting driving experience. We'll get into that more when we take it on the road. So styling wise, these things look amazing. Obviously, it's one of those things that you can definitely see the lineage, you can see the heritage in it, you can see it, the lines of the classic, very vibrantly in every detail of this truck. The supercharged obviously gets the supercharged badges. They're recessed dual pipes, which even the non-supercharged versions had, but it's a little more pronounced in this model. I think they're 20 or 21 inch wheels, and a different grille. I think it's a chrome looking grille like this one has. And it really, what it was the Range Rover Sport came out at the same time, and I think they also realized that the 4.4, even in the 2006, the non-supercharged 4.4 Jaguar motor just didn't have enough punch. And I think that's really what this came down to. It wasn't meant for handling performance. It was just more of a power boost. And that's how they got it in the upmarket model. All right, so let's jump inside. Again, it's funny because, I've got a 2006 LR3, and this key looks older than the one for the P38 that I had. It's just funny how the different models are so different and kind of quirky in their own ways. The 2006 was an interesting, let's call it a hybrid generation, because you still retained a lot of, the BMW switchgear is still found mostly throughout this model. And if you look closely, you'll miss, what's it missing? It's missing the train response system, which is very odd and not something we didn't really realize until we did some quick research upon considering when he was talking to our group about purchasing this truck. But everything else is pure Land Rover. Obviously, you've got the massively comfortable large captain seats, beautiful materials. Obviously, this one's high mileage, 180,000 miles, so it's got a little bit of wear on it. Let's see, that's the unlock, which is really odd button. Great back seat setup. Obviously, no third row. You know, I think the LR3 still reigns king in that department. Heated seats back here. Again, set up for the kids, but you know, carbon carbon upgraded sound system. But and like all these, you have. Does it work? Oh, the tailgate. Again, I don't want to mess around too much in his car. That's funny. This carpet's very BMW. Haven't been in a newer one. I've been in a couple 5 liters, but it's been a while since I've seen the back of these. I wonder how that looks in comparison. Does this lift up? Yep, full-size spare. Looks original. This truck was obviously used a lot, and I think what's really coming down to with these is I think people are finding that they have enough miles and they've been in service long enough that, you know, the reliability of them has been tested to one form or the other. And I'm not going to say they're reliable, but it seems like, notice the key placement. It seems like they're not as unreliable as other cars of the time if you want something more interesting. I think that's really comes down to. It's not comparing it to other Land Rovers or other things in the segment. It seems to be very reliable if driven and maintained properly. I get a lot of flack in the comments about some of my opinions on things, but you have to find a good one. You have to find the right one. It has to feel right. It has to drive nice. It has to have an owner that took care of things. You don't want to buy these from a used car lot, sight unseen, buy here, pay here. I mean, you could get lucky, but again, you don't know what you're dealing with. This one had a good history. The owner had a bunch of Land Rovers, so he decided to risk it. And again, from my quick drive over here, it seems like he did well. Pop the hood. Let's see if I can get this. Right there, nailed it. So he's got the engine removed. You can see the big Jag 4.2 Supercharged V8 sitting right there. He's doing a little bit of restoration and maintenance on it, but running smooth. Has a nice coolant smell like most of these JLR V8s do, but there's nothing to worry there. I kind of like being able to see the supercharger. It's not completely hidden. Battery is right there, not hidden under a seat or anything like that. And this engine bay, it's with it being the 4.2, not the 5 liter, you can see everything, which is nice. It's not too intimidating, which is, I think, a large factor in a lot of these. So yeah, nothing wild under there. Again, this car definitely has 180,000 miles on it. I'm not sugarcoating anything. It's gonna need tires. He's got his white set of wheels and whatnot he's gonna put on there, but let's just go ahead and take it for a spin, because that's really what this thing's all about. All right, so interior, like I mentioned, typical L322. Obviously, a very nice transition from classic to P38 to this model. Very Rover-ish, looking out over the hood, the bonnet there. Everything's laid out very nicely. It's still odd. It's so odd missing that train response system, especially in this 06 model. And yes, I know it needs to be detailed and whatnot. It's not my car. Let's test out the air suspension real quick. See what it does or doesn't do. Oh, nope, it's over here. Weird. Oh, we are rising. That's it. It just one height. And then lowering. Going down. Neat. Well, it probably won't stay like that. So another thing I noticed, it's showing 181,000 miles with 254 miles of range. I don't know how size the fuel tank is, but obviously it's probably not too small if we're at half a tank with over 250 miles of range. I think that's almost as good as my LR3 gets on a good day. But yeah, looking around the cabin, everything's nice. Again, this one obviously has a little bit more wear than anyone else. Has the typical weird Rover horn buttons. I can't tell you how many times I've pressed this and nothing happens. But let's pop it in gear, take it for a spin. All right. Smooth, quiet, sophisticated, all those things, except with the 4.2 at the front. You know, speed and power, that's kind of what this model was going for. This is extremely heavy truck. I don't know how much it weighs, probably 2.5 train cars. It feels heavy, but not in a bad way. Give it some beans here. Whoop. Great noise from. It's a little louder than I thought. Feel the weight into a normal turn. Foot is to the floor right there, but not to the kickdown switch. So again, not super fast, but not super slow. See, my way of really quantifying speed in old vehicles like this is, does it try? Does it rev all the way out? You know, is it limited by traction control systems and engine management systems? A lot of newer cars are, but a lot of these late 90s, early 2000s trucks, SUVs, cars, you know, they weren't as advanced in that factor, and they'll give it a shot. All right, so I'm at 40 miles an hour at just downshift a little bit. I'm trying to get it back down to 1,500 RPM. Put my foot down. And there she goes. Shot up to 60. And you know what? That was fun. Obviously, it does not handle like a sports car, but that noise and that little shove, as they say, makes this quite the experience. Again, everything was smooth. You know, another thing I noticed too, shifting the transmission just from park to reverse, you know, moving around the parking lot to I filled the last segment, extremely quick, very direct, you know, no delay, no pause, no driveline slack, you know, and you can flip the throttle up and down, it'll shift perfectly, there's no clunks, which again, this car is driven, it's got 180,000 miles, it's a Rover, it should explode, but nope, it feels great. It really does. Beautiful leather dash, not cracked yet. Way better than the LR3s at the time. So that feels nice. Again, I'm not gonna play the stereo system, but that, you know, functioned as it should. I don't know. Let me see. Can you manually control the gears? Yes, like a BMW. Obviously, I just forgot about that. You can manually shift up and down. It goes into S, third gear, fourth gear, back into drive, no problems. And yeah, and again, what this comes down to is this is the best four-wheel drive Jaguar of the day. Again, just like a Jaguar, it doesn't handle all that great. It's not the most reliable thing in the world, but it's beautiful. It has presence. It goes when you put your foot down, and most of your friends will be jealous and probably want one. And that's the thing, you know, a lot of the other guys that buy, they have a choice. They could buy something nice, they could buy something more expensive, but there's an appeal to these things that you just can't quantify unless you own one. And that's the minutia, and that's the magic that keeps bringing people back to these big, expensive, potentially unreliable, kind of quick, interesting turds, because that's what they are. They're turds, but that's why we love them. So, Mr. RV and Rover, the owner of this vehicle, just purchased it last week. Hasn't done a full shakedown on it, but of course, like every good Rover owner, has continued to drive it. And I'm sure we'll get some updates on this particular high mileage example. But for now, that's my thoughts on it. This thing is, again, I'm not going to say surprised. This thing is great. It is really great for what it is. It could use a little bit of interior reconditioning. Probably could use front rotors at some point, but other than that, you know, it's worth the hype. And you know, that supercharger whine, if that doesn't do it for you, you gotta watch a wrong channel. So I'm delivering it back to him, which is unfortunate because I wish I could kind of keep driving it. And that's the middle generation 2006 L322 Supercharged. If you like this video and want to see some more reviews and opinions on other Land Rovers, Range Rovers, Cayennes, and other weird stuff on my channel, feel free to subscribe and hit the like button. Check it out, guys. I appreciate you watching along. Hopefully continue to bring some more interesting Rover content and see how even this model evolves. Can't wait to see it with the white new Defender rims on it that he had on the LR3. So appreciate it. See ya.